this example, we are going to find the first four non-zero terms of the Taylor series for the function f of x equals psi x centered at pi equals 2. The Taylor series is of the form summation the k derivative at the point A divided by k factorial multiplied by x minus a to the power k. And this function is the psi function. For this case, f of x equals psi x. So f at a or f at pi over 2, which is psi of pi over 2, evaluated to get the value 1. By the first derivative, which is the cosine x, the first derivative at pi over 2, or the cosine at pi over 2, returns the value 0. The second derivative is negative sine x. So f double prime at pi over 2 is negative sine of pi over 2 or negative 1. And continue for a few orders of the derivative. The third derivative, which is negative cosine x at the point pi over 2, is negative cosine pi over 2 or becomes 0. The fourth derivative is positive sine x at pi over 2 equals sine pi over 2 or back to the value 1. Confirm one more as we see the pattern. So the fifth derivative at pi over 2 or the cosine pi over 2 is 0. So the pattern is 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and then repeat it again as 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and so forth. As a function in the Taylor series form, f the k derivative at the point A divided by k factorial times x minus a to the power k as a equals pi over 2 and the function is the function psi x in the expanded form, we would get the f at pi over 2 plus f prime at pi over 2 divided by 1 factorial multiplied by x minus pi over 2 to the first. For the second order term, the second derivative at pi over 2 divided by 2 factorial multiplied by x minus pi over 2 to the second. The first derivative at pi over 2 divided by 3 factorial multiplied by x minus pi over 2 to the third, and so forth. We get the coefficient at the zero order or f at pi over 2 is 1 and the f prime at pi over 2 is 0. So this term is 0 times x minus pi over 2. The second derivative at pi over 2 is negative 1 divided by 2 factorial multiplied by x minus pi over 2 squared. The third derivative is 0. The fourth derivative is 1. So 1 over 4 factorial times x minus pi over 2 to the fourth plus 0 again at the fifth order. And then minus psi or minus 1 for the sixth order. And so forth. In summary, we get the psi x at the Taylor at a equals pi over 2 of the form 1 minus 1 over 2 factorial multiplied by x minus pi over 2 to the second. That's a second non-zero term. And the third non-zero term is 1 over 4 factorial times x minus pi over 2 to the fourth. And the fourth or the fourth non-zero term would be negative 1 over 6 factorial times x minus pi over 2 to the sixth and plus the remainder terms. So we obtain the first four non-zero terms of the Taylor series centered at a equals pi over 2 of the function psi x.